Do have a guest in studio. She's no longer a guest. I always say kama kawaida. She's now become a member. A member.
Absolutely.
Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you?
I'm good. I'm very well.
So
How are you guys?
We are good.
Uh-huh.
So good to have you back.
Nice to be here. It's always nice to be here.
Yeah.
Yes.
In case you're wondering, ni nani? It's Maimuna Mwidau. Yeah?
Yes.
She teaches us every single day. We learn.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so do I.
We learn. Hata kama unasoma, tunasoma zaidi.
Sindio?
Okay.
Yeah.
Asante.
Dida Doshi, good morning. Dida anasema she's locked in. It's Dida from Kitsau, Lamu County. Oh, Dida uko nyumbani. Anasema twasikiza show na madogo zangu tukiwa zoezi. Oh, really? Now you're working out. Okay.
Dida. D-I-D-A.
Dida, thank you.
Huyu mmoja.
Yeah, Dida mmoja.
Double D.
Fanya zoezi.
Anafanya zoezi. Okay.
Watu wafanye zoezi.
Ni hawa Januari.
Yeah. Those people who start working out when the year begins. Yeah.
That's good.
We have people with New Year goals, and then in January they go ham. Okay, because it's a new year, and I'm writing down my goals and what I want to do, and I'm going ham, and then in February they drop out, and it goes on and on and on and on.
They need to have daily goals.
Oh yes,
Daily goals. Do it every day. At the end of the day, you look at it, it's like, okay, did I make it halfway? Good. Tomorrow I'm going to finish the other half. Daily goals.
Daily goals.
Yes. So you want to work out? Start like 30 minutes a day. It's enough.
Ni sawa.
And count down.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
I think Eugene amepata kitu.
Hata wewe pia.
Mimi niwache tu.
You're not going to do it? Yeah?
Mi bora nifanye kitu chingine yenye nitafanya mfululizo.
The workout, I do every day.
Eh?
Good.
Okay.
I'm happy to
But
hear
I
that.
don't run around. I'm always doing something, planting, cleaning up garden,
Yeah.
picking up dried plants, flowers. That is your whole body working out.
Yeah.
That is therapeutic.
That yes, and your mind clears out. So I'm a bit older now, but 40 years back I used to run. I went to Mount Kenya climbing. I used to swim. But as you get older, you need to do your regular walks within activities that you feel you're comfortable with.
Tunaweza hapo tunaweza kubaliana.
Yeah?
Yeah, unainama hapa, unazunguka pale. Usiwe seated on a couch.
Yes.
No.
Okay.
You should be moving around in small steps and do it every single day. You're good.
Hiyo naweza.
I always say you have to move your body.
Absolutely. It
And
was made
it's-
to move.
Yes, you have to move your body. And for me, you see, workout helps me mentally. And it's huge. And this morning, over the weekend, let's say I started off over the weekend. So I'll go for a run, at least do around 30 minutes. And then across the week, if I'm unable to put in a 30-minute workout, I'll put in a 15-minute workout. It really, really helps. And najua kuna watu wengine, it's not their forte. But remember when you say baby steps
Yes.
and consistency?
Absolutely.
So for me, consistency is I might not be able to put in a 30-minute workout, but I can do a 15-minute workout to kickstart my morning. It's very, very important. Anyway, tushawaambia sasa, ushajua, move your body. Now, we want to look at the state of the nation. And we have seen a lot of changes here and there. When the Gen Z protest took place, and yesterday I watched a documentary on Citizen, and they were covering what happened with the Gen Z protests, and also remember Invade Parliament, that was on June 25th, right? And the documentary highlighted a lot of things, and there you can see now the members of Parliament who were in Parliament then, while the protesters were on the streets, you know, and when they passed that bill, and then there was now let's go to Parliament. So now they were responding, giving their story of how it happened, you know, and you can tell there was a lot of fear with the members of Parliament. In their conversations, you can tell there was a lot of fear. One thing stuck out to me with Eden Duale's response. He said that during the June 25th, the invade parliament, the protests were invaded by goons. You know, they're saying the protests were invaded by goons, that those were not Gen Zs. And Sam Gituku asked him a question and said, who were those people who were shooting at the protesters? They were masked, the gunmen, right? Who were those people? There was no clear answer. And then our current deputy president was also asked the same question. There was no clear answer. But you see, you're seeing a crowd moving towards them, and we will see you see those clips, you know, and they were shooting. But then there was no clear answer as to hawa ni kina nani. Who were these who were shooting at the protesters? What I heard was there were goons that infiltrated, and what I heard also was they were coming for our blood, and they were the protesters, and those who feared were the members of parliament. Now, that is what happened. If you haven't watched that documentary, go back and watch it, because it gives a very good perspective to how the protest took place and the view from the politicians. Now, after invade parliament, we saw the president dissolve cabinet, right? And, first of all, he said no finance bill. He said it wasn't going to be implemented. We were happy. Then later on, he dissolved cabinet. And then after dissolving cabinet, we saw new faces. Now that's when we saw Joho. We saw Pio and I.
Mbadi.
We saw Mbadi as well, join in the cabinet. And we're like, okay, people from ODM are joining the government. And then now, Juicy Tena, we're seeing another reshuffle. And with this reshuffle, we're seeing new faces. And this reshuffle from Jubilee. We're seeing it after he met the former president, right? Maimuna, what is happening?
Good question.
Yeah.
As you already said, let's look at the context.
Yeah.
The context of what is happening today is after the Gen Z. But as you said clearly, the politicians were looking at it differently. From most of us who are watching the live Gen Z, we could tell the difference. The first group was young people, very well organized, and it was a totally different face of young Kenyans. In the evening, you'd find them going back home out of the city comfortably. They were not afraid of the security. They were not throwing stones, well dressed. I mean, I remember one MP said, oh, these guys, once they're done, they go to KFC. And of course, there's they would go to KFC as a group and put in a few shillings together, and they would eat something decently. Yeah. So in the beginning, even the police, the security apparatus was actually just watching. Yeah. In any police car that moved within the city, they would celebrate with them. And I remember this young lady who confronted a policeman. I think it's called Shakira, I think.
Yeah.
And she basically said it all. We are doing this because it's for you and me. Yeah. It's not me against you and everybody else. No, it's for our own good. So that was clear. Yeah. Now, as the days were passing by, the euphoria was growing. The demands were coming out very clearly. And what happened at that time, if you didn't understand the finance bill, the Gen Z were actually educating everybody. Yeah. And it is all about our economy is not doing well, hardships by young people and everybody else in the country. So why would you go past the finance bill? And the demand was withdraw it. President must go home if you're not withdrawing this. Yeah. So there were demands that were clear. Then out of the blues, and I can understand where the Kina Duale couldn't say something because they were in the security apparatus anyway. Yeah. Yes. There are certain things you don't say publicly. The hooded guys are probably the security intelligence. They knew who is who. They knew the normal Gen Z, and then this other group that came in and invaded parliament looked totally different. The behavior was very different. The outlook was different. You didn't need to be told.
Yeah.
And they couldn't have come on their own. Somebody somewhere organized them to make that look that Gen Zs are not organized. Gen Z are not. They are not a safe rally. You know, this was well organized, or rather orchestrated. So of course the security apparatus probably also knew there's going to be an infiltration, and they had to be ready to fight. You fight this other Gen Z, it's very simple. You just wait for them on the street, don't beat them up, they will walk back home. This other one targeted an institution in such a manner that you could tell this is extremely dangerous. And then again, MPs are just human beings. They fear for their lives. I remember I saw some of the speakers were put in an ambulance.
Speaker National
to be taken out.
Senate.
They fear for their lives because they're just human beings at the end of the day. You may be called Mushimio, but hey,
you're a human being.
You're human. Fear is normal, because what if those goons went in and slaughtered everybody? Because you don't even know who they are.
One was roughed
They're
up.
just thugs. They're just thugs. So based on that scenario, that is when we saw these changes, which are called reshuffles. But I would say realignments. Because there is a threat from the general public that the economy is not doing well. We are suffering. And here you are appropriating funds in such a way that it makes our life difficult. You're taking more from us. That's the feeling I got. You're taking too much, and you're not giving back anything. And the various projects that were coming up, successively. So the fear is on the part of the leadership. The threat is from the public. Now, what would you do if you have a threat? You reorganize yourself. And the threat was not directly only at the president or just the government of the day. It was like the political leadership across the board. We don't believe you, we don't trust you, we don't want you. You go out of this leadership.
We will recall you.
We will do it ourselves the way we want it to be done, and these are our demands. Because I remember they went through the whole finance bill and they were able to explain it. Well, the finance bill was removed, but the appropriation bill wasn't. Because the appropriation bill is the problem, because it appropriates funds in certain areas, and the finance one just implements. So as a result of that, I think the threat was more on the government of the day, and they had to figure out how to build that strength and support. And that's the reason why you saw this fast disbandment of this. The cabinet was disbanded, and for purpose of reorganizing it, because you couldn't remove one person or two people and they would have felt like maybe they're the problem. You remove all of them and then reorganize. Because before that, the president had already complained that it seems some of the ministers, cabinet ministers, didn't know much about what was going on in their ministries, and that he knew more
than them.
You remember that meeting?
I do.
So there was already mama that some were not working, some are working extra hard, some just have no clue what's going on.
And it's like they got there because, hey, we are the government. And I think that's where the conversation of shares also came in.
Yes. And the shares bit was based on the coalition agreements. I think UDA has about 18 parties in the coalition. And then Azimio has quite a number, I think, if not something close to 18, but could be more. So it was about that. And the share came about because every party had an agreement with the main party on how they will deliver certain regions or certain number of votes to be able to garner space within forming the government, which is normal.
You said something about the threats coming from the people, towards the political
leadership. Yeah.
And when the realignment took place, would you say that it addressed the issues that the Gen Z were protesting about?
Not really. I don't see that happening. Their realignments are leaders in the same class, the same group of people who understand government, who have been part of government. They all feel threatened together.
Mm-hmm.
So they must come back and form a team that will be able to counter whatever might come out in 2027. They must. If you look at all the people who have been appointed or nominated, they have been in one government or the other. So they all know each other. So the first, I think, appeal was to ODM, which is supposed to be the official opposition. So nowadays we don't even know who's in opposition. We are all in government. Then Baba was able to release a couple of people. And it had Baba's blessing, because if it didn't have Baba's blessing, it won't happen.
Yeah.
So we see a couple of
big wigs, noisemakers who can hold fort. The foot soldiers.
Even if Baba is away.
Yeah.
These ones can hold fort.
Yeah.
Maandamano is finished. Now. We are very happy. We cannot criticize government anymore. Government is now good. So that was getting the support of that group of people.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then again, after the Gachagua saga, Mlima was not very happy.
Yes.
Okay. And Mlima is very important in terms of the direction they take politically. So what do? You go to find your old friend again and talk, because now you have a common enemy.
Yeah.
This is purely politics. Now you have a common enemy between the two of you. How do we work? You also want to be part of government.
Yeah.
I give you about 5 of my people. If you want somebody from Nyeri to counter Gachagua, take Kagwe.
A master.
He knows the game. Okay?
Yeah.
Then you want somebody from Kiambu. Kabogo is there. He has a party of his own. He's part of the UDA coalition.
The bulldozer.
Kabogo. He was a governor. Anajua watu huyo.
Yeah.
You strategically put people there. No. Now it's going to be a race between people in the same region. Yeah, you want Coast Province, wechukua Asani. Atawaambia maneno yao. Kama ni noma. So those are the kind of things you look at and see they are reorganizing themselves in preparation for 2027. And what will come out as an opposition is what I'll be more interested in, because Kalonzo has not joined yet. Wamalo is not joining yet. But Jubilee is already in the fold. ODM is in the fold. So I expect the rest will follow.
So you're saying this recent reshuffle
absolutely
was to include or just to create some sort of peace now at Mlima?
Yeah, and building up a force now. Anticipating there is going to be another team to fight. So either Mlima may not deliver the 100%, they might have to share between Gachagua's team and this other team. So it's preparing for war, 2027. I mean, war of elections.
War of elections. Afadhali umeiweka sawa. So, gazeti la leo, Daily Nation, wamesema kwamba rais amepiga U-turn ya kampeni yake yote ilikuwa ni mtu wa chini. Yote kwa ujumla na sote hapa ni mashahidi kwamba hustler, bottom up, mama mboga. Yes. Now wanasema amepiga U-turn kwamba sasa hivi ameenda kuwakumbatia hao dynasties in the name of Raila au kina Raila nao na hao wanamaji wake. So right now tena ameenda kwa Uhuru na wanamaji wake. Lakini Mudavadi yuko naye. They were Tangulars, yuko nao. So instead ya focus ya huyu hustler, sasa hivi imebadilika kwamba wale watu ambao aliwapiga vita wakati akitaka kuingia madarakani, sasa hivi ndio anawakumbatia. hii athari yake kwa huyo ambaye kwamba ni mamba mboga, hasla, bodaboda na nini inakaaje?
Athari kubwa ni kwamba mama mboga na hasla wataamua. Wao wenyewe ndio wataamua. Watataka kutawaliwa vipi na nani. Na ni nani atakuja waambia lile wanalotaka kulisikia. Lakini kwa vile baada ya hii harakati ya Gen Z kumebadilika mambo mengi sana. Kuweza kuja kuchaguliwa watu ambao haujawasikia. Tunasikia sasa hivi kuna majina yanatajwa. Pengine watasimama kuwa rais. Majina ambayo si kawaida. Kwa sababu haya wengine wote hawa ni wa kawaida tuwajua. Lakini paweza kutokea jina la mtu mwingine kabisa ambaye atazungumza lugha ya hasla. Kwa sababu hii ambayo ya bottoms up imefeli hapa ilipofika. Hapa ishafeli. Kwa sababu tayari imechukua mkondo mwingine.
Okay.
Kulingana na mtu ambaye wa chini alikuwa ategemea tutasaidika. Lakini pia wajua kutoa ahadi nyingi nazo pia ni mzigo.
Okay.
Kwa sababu ahadi zilizotolewa zilikuwa ni kubwa nyingi. Kwa hiyo matarajio yalikuwa makubwa. Na kwa vile hayakuafikiwa haya matarajio, imekuwa sasa ni shida.
So hii bottom up, kimtazamo wako ni kwamba tayari hii story hii ya bottom up imefeli?
Bottom up haijafeli kwa sababu mipangilio yake bado yaendelea.
Okay.
Lakini sera zitabadilika, hakuna sana zitakapobadilika.
Okay.
Wale wanaokuja katika serikali walikuwa kwenye serikali na Rais Ruto. Kwa hiyo wanaijua serikali tutafanya nini. Hapa kinachotafutwa ni kuleta uwiano. Hapa kutafutwa uwiano, kutuliza hizi harakati na hasira.
Okay.
Lakini mipangilio ya serikali itaendelea. Si sha iko. Sha itaendelea.
Ndio.
Mtalipa vile vile sha.
Tutalipa hapo.
Nyumba zitajengwa taratibu. Madeni tutaendelea kuyalipa. Ni ile kupunguza joto la hasira, kwamba ule uchungu. Labda pengine wakija hawa wengine wataleta karabati mwingine. Kuna mambo yatabadilishwa, kuna lugha tofauti. Unaweza kumwambia mtu neno kwa lugha tofauti na akaelewa. Lakini kuna wengine waweza sema neno lile akalikosea kulieleza. Kama ukizungumza kwa hasira sasa na wananchi, hawatakuelewa. Wataangalia hasira tu ile. Lakini Mutai kwake, kama unakumbuka wakati wa COVID, alikuwa ni waziri mmoja alikuwa akieleza maneno ya COVID vizuri na watu wakaelewa kwa utaratibu mzuri.
Kwa hivyo tutachanja ng'ombe.
Umeelewa sasa kama ng'ombe walikuwa wanachanjwa mara nyingi kutokea maradhi fulani. Watu waelewa. Sasa ukiwaambia watu watachanjwa ng'ombe bila kuwaeleza watakatibu kitu gani, ama mweza kuchanjwa na mapema isikitokea athari fulani, hawezi kuathirika, watu wataelewa. Lakini kama hakuna kuelezewa, hata mtoto wako huwezi kumpeleka hospitali kuchanjwa. Uambiwe tu kishamzaa mlete achanjwa kitu gani? Achanjwa smallpox, achanjwa nini? Hilo ndo swali kubwa linaulizwa, kwa chanjwa kitu gani?
Okay.
Ni kama COVID ilipokuja tuliambiwa watu waende wakachanjwa. Kupunguza madhara ya COVID. Haimaanishi utapoa moja kwa moja, lakini yapunguza ile
kusambaa.
Sasa na wacha kusambaa, na kwamba ikikushika labda haitakuwa na nguvu, ni kinga. So ikiwa atakuja Mutahi aelezee watu vizuri, labda mashamba, ng'ombe, mbuzi itakuwaje, pengine kutakuwa na ile kuelewa, kwa sababu pia saa nyingine anayezungumza lazima aaminiwe.
Kwa hivyo Maimuna, hapo niulize swali kabla nimpishe Miriam. Ni kwamba lile baraza la mawaziri ambalo kwamba tumekuwa nalo for the better part ya hii miaka miwili, ni kwamba walikuwa wanazungumza na mwananchi, na mwananchi haelewi kwa sehemu kubwa kile ambacho kwamba kilikuwa kinaelezwa. Mathalan, tulikuwa na wakili hapa, speaker alisema story ya boma yangu haieleweki kwa mwananchi. So mawaziri walikuwa hawaelezi vitu vya serikali vile inavyostahili, na hawa ambao wanakuja tuamini kwamba wana hiyo nguvu ya kueleza, ama pia nao itakuwa kama wale ambao kwamba wamekwepa.
Unajua kila binadamu ni tofauti. Mutai ana experience. Nitazungumzia Mutai kwa sababu nilimuona akiwa waziri.
Yes.
Ana experience
kuanzia ICT kule.
Na mtazamo wake ni tofauti. Nafikiri mtakumbuka kuna wakati rais alikuwa amekasirika sana akisema sasa ni kama hamujui kazi. Mimi peke yangu ndo nafuatilia. Ni kama wengine hawajui kulikuwa na hiyo housing, wengine halikuwa hawajui sijui kuna mpango gani wa serikali. Yaani uko ndani ya serikali. Uko ndani ya serikali lakini hujui wizara ya mwenzako yafanya nini. Umeelewa? Na hilo ni tatizo kubwa. Kwa sababu ukiwa ndani ya serikali lazima uelewe kule kwafanywa kitu gani, kwa sababu kazi zote za muhusu binadamu mmoja. Ikiwa ni nyumba itakuhusu, ikiwa ni ufugaji itakuhusu. Kama wewe si mfugaji lakini utakula nyama itakuhusu
kweli.
So ni lazima kwamba wawe wakielewa kwamba kama kwa pitishwa sera fulani na wewe lazima uijue, na yule ambaye wizara yake inaumuhusu awe na uwerevu wa kuweza kueleza wananchi kinaga ubaga kwamba sasa sisi tumeanzisha chanjo, kazi yake ni hivi ni hivi ni hivi. Sio wengi wanaweza kufanya kazi hiyo, lakini ukikumbuka wakati wa serikali ya Kibaki, Rais Kibaki alikuwa hazungumzi sana. Wala hatoki kutoa mataarifa mengi. Wala alikuwa halalamiki. Fine, alikuwa ni mgonjwa. Lakini juu ya ugonjwa wake mawaziri wake walikuwa kila mtu aweza kusimamia wizara yake mwenyewe, na Kibaki alikuwa anataka kujua ripoti tu.
With what you've just said, we have heard the president come to the limelight to explain widely the new university funding model, and all these agendas he's seen in the front line, explaining SHA anasema university funding model, now the matters with vaccination. Okay, is it that the people who are in these positions, like you say, truly do not understand, or is it that they're not, there's no delegation? Because we are seeing a president who's hands-on.
Well,
is it that there's no delegation?
If there was no delegation at all, then the Minister of Lands would not have been up and about doing her business. I think you have seen Mheshimiwa CS Wahome,
yes.
Alice Wahome. She has been out explaining clearly what her ministry is doing. She has been clearly talking about land issues and explain. She knows her stuff. So you need such a minister who knows her docket very well, and it does not need to take a president to go and discuss what the Ministry of Education should do, or Ministry of Health should be doing. The president oversees everybody. So when you see the president coming out clearly trying to emphasize and inform, it's because somebody else has not done it.
Somebody's dropping the ball.
Absolutely. And they should be dropped like yesterday. Yeah? So it is very important that the president brings in people who can help him run government. People who can stand up to him and say, no, this is how we will address it. Because at the same time, you have to understand, when you have a very, very strong personality of a president, highly qualified, knows the nitty-gritty of almost everything, then you need another very strong minister who can actually say, no, this one, while we agree with you, the way the country is going, we need to take this approach.
But do we see that?
And he respects that.
Do we see that?
No, and that's what I'm saying. He needs that kind of people where he also can also respect.
That's the word. Yeah.
He can also respect, saying, I respect this person. I may not agree, but I respect this opinion. Yeah? And sometimes when you showcase your ability and you're able to justify your position, no matter how strong a personality you are, you will recognize that. But unfortunately, and this is not meant to be against any individual or leadership, some are a bit challenged in certain areas. And maybe you are given an appointment based on friendship or what your contribution you made and what have you, unfortunately. But then again, when you see the new realignments, people are moved to facilitate progress. And others will be put in appropriate places, maybe where they can play a role also.
na wengine wanawekwa sehemu ambao kwamba ni wazuri kufanya hiyo biashara.
Exactly. You give somebody what they're good at.
Biashara.
Yeah, not you don't promote them just for the sake of it.
Yeah.
But you give them what they are good at and they will deliver.
There's a question here. This is from Ma. Ma says, I have a few questions for Madam Maimuna. So the new faces in the cabinet are all from Mount Kenya region. This is clearly the president trying to massage the Mount Kenya region. What do we make from this in terms of the political landscape countrywide? Does this mean other regions don't matter? I think he'll answer that.
Okay.
He says again, if this is the president trying to garner for the seat come 2027, then does that mean that Gachagua was right all along to bargain for the Murima region because they contributed the most in the president getting into office? And also, we've seen His Honorable Salim Vuria being shifted into the sports docket, which arguably isn't a weighty cabinet. Does this reflect the long-time stereotype that the coast region isn't of much value?
Good questions. I love
very
those ones.
heavy.
Very heavy, very in-depth.
Yeah.
And I can feel where he's coming from.
Yeah.
But let us go back to our politics. The foundation of our politics is regional, it's tribal. That one, there's no doubt about it. Even when we register political parties, we're supposed to be national. You still find that they're aligned with the leadership. So you have Nyanza, ODM. Then you have UDA, which is predominantly Rift Valley. Then you have Wiper, is Kalonzo Musyoka, Ukambani. You know, whether we like it or not, that's the reality. Yeah. UDM, which is predominantly Northeastern.
Northeastern, yeah.
So that is how we are organized. Coast region has some small parties, but we are yet to understand the dynamics of politics and organizing ourselves along those lines. Now, at the end of the day, politics is tribal. Yeah, we cannot enforce any other law to remove that.
Yeah.
But when we form a government, normally we look at the regions. We accommodate each other. Now, the exit of Gachagua, the impression it has given, we may not be in Mrima right now, but the impression it has given that mtoto wetu ametupwa, tumedharauliwa. Now, it's not a Gachagua thing anymore. Because Gachagua did campaign to say, sisi lazima tukue kwa serikali.
Yeah.
And I remember some of them were telling him that, we told you, usiende huko, tengeza chama yako. So that you can form an alliance. It's safer that way. And he thought, no, well, we are okay, we are together.
Yeah.
You see? So when the way he was kicked out or shoved out, even those ones who probably were not following him would follow him. Because he was saying, iko na shares, kila mahali kuna shares. And he justified that when he said, okay, PA from Coast Province had a coalition agreement and they got the speaker. Sijui nani else got
it was there actually. You know, yes, it's detailed.
It's submitted to the register of political parties.
Yes, it's there.
So every party had a coalition with somebody.
Yes,
they were agreeing on certain things. An agreement means there's certain things we agree on.
Yes.
So this time it's politics. If I'm going to have an agreement with you, I'll be asking, utaleta kura ngapi? You know, I have no business doing a coalition with you if you have nothing to offer.
Yeah.
That is why you always hear watu huzungumza wakiwa mezani, wanaeka vitu zote kwa meza.
Table, yeah.
Kwa meza, it means you show what you're capable of.
Yeah.
Now, yes, Mrima has come in full force because the president went and spoke to the head of Jubilee, Uhuru Kenyatta.
Yes.
Now, Uhuru Kenyatta has his backyard where he knows a chunk of the votes come from. Now, what would you do if you are him? Because now him and Gachagua don't see eye to eye.
Yeah.
You cover up. Mlima sasa will start seeing things a little bit different. Apana, si Kagwe yuko. Tumerudi. Tuko kwa serikali ndani.
Li Kinyanjui.
Hapo.
Kabogo.
They are full force in.
Nderitu Mureithi.
Not as individuals. Because the president went and spoke to his former boss. They agreed on certain terms. Mbona akumwita Kingi onge?
By the way.
Exactly. This is very strategic politically. And if you want to survive, you don't want to be a one-term and make history, you will do that. You will swallow your pride, go and talk to the next leader, agree. We don't know what they've agreed upon because those are supposed to be opposition anyway.
And we have seen him swallow his pride, you know?
That's politics though.
Yeah.
And you'll be a fool if you don't change your mind. You cannot be fixed.
Word.
You'll be a fool if you don't change your mind at any point.
Yeah.
He went to talk to Baba.
Yeah.
Baba told him, chukua Mbadi hapo. Bandika hapo kwa pesa hapo. So wewe hujui kuhesabu pesa. Mbadi anajua kuhesabu pesa hapo. Chukua Joe, atapiga makelele huko pwani, huko atakusaidia.
Wanampatia madini. Because huko anafanyaga.
Acha Mvuri apumzike hapo kidogo. You see, if you look at the people who have been appointed, Mbadi, that finance docket, that's his background.
Yeah.
Very
He's
good
an accountant by profession.
Yeah. Yes.
My younger brother Joe here, he's a rabble rouser.
What does that mean?
Atakuja piga kelele hapa kabisa. Sasa mtasikia ati pwani now you're actually in government. Because it has been quiet.
Kama noma.
It has been quiet. I mean, let's give him credit for that, yeah? Mvuria has been there, but did we even know Madini was happening? No. Did we? I'm sorry, he's another brother of mine. Blue economy. Na bahari ni yetu hapa, but we don't hear nothing.
Now you have know? Joe.
And exactly. Sasa hivi Joe ataambia Masime wacha watafutie kazi. Sasa hivi ataambia mtakwenda kuvua na nyavu.
Madini mtachimba.
Na madini mtachimba kwa kwani. So
tuko kwa serikali.
Sometimes it's just you make things happen. People now say hata sisi pia kuna mmoja wetu hapo kwenye cabinet wamuona hata kelele zake tusisikie.
He's all over.
It's that simple.
So then you find that you feel represented,
even if you're not
in
represented,
one way
you
or
just
another.
feel like ni wetu. The way Mlima was feeling ni wetu ametupwa, and the way you'd feel hata kidogo sasa tuwasikilikana. Unajua waziri akiingia pale anajulikana huyu ni mpwani tu huyu.
Yes.
Huyu ni mpwani tu, hata vile akitembea ni mpwani. You know.
Hata wale waliotolewa kwenye hizo wizara wamepewa maambassador.
Exactly.
Mwangi wa Iria mwenye alikuwa anafuatafuata amepewa ka docket hapo.
Wengine ni chairman wa KEBS
wa board.
Sijui wengine ni chairman mahali hapo, somewhere where they will be felt, government will be felt. So, na kama kulikuwa na shida, watajaribu kutengeza because people have been in government, most of them.
So the broad-based government is working. Would you say that?
It has not started working.
It's being formed.
It is being formed. It's in the process. The nominees watapitishwa, wabunge watapitisha tu, you know. Hakuna shida nyingi hapo. These are people who know each other. But I like the one question that kwani sisi pwani?
Yes.
Ni kama hatuna umuhimu.
And does this reflect the long-time stereotype that the coast region isn't of much value?
It's not a stereotype.
What is it?
It's a reality. I'm a coastal too.
Yeah.
It's no longer a stereotype. It's a reality.
What's the reality for you?
The reality is if you don't understand politics of today, then you better start understanding it. It's about numbers. Politics is about numbers. Your numbers are distributed across the board, so they don't make sense to anybody. They don't add value to anybody. Ask any politician. If these numbers were delivered by a coastal leader, collectively, there will be somewhere to bargain. How do you bargain with part of it in Wiper, part of it in ODM, part of it in UDA, bits and pieces somewhere? Even Hassan Sarai is not very powerful today. But if he had the whole of Coast Province, he would be powerful.
I remember King is saying that the coastal region should vote as a block. I don't know if it was, I believe that was Amazon Kingi.
You just can't tell people to vote as a bloc. You go out and rally them from Lamu to Shimoni.
Okay.
You go out and rally and explain to them the importance of having a bloc vote.
Okay.
That is important. You just don't tell them over the radio. For instance, I sit here and tell them, you need to vote as a bloc, and then
can they though? Can the
yes, they can.
Yeah.
You must have an interest because it's about interest.
So Maimuna, niuliza hivi, now that Mvurya he has been there, we are not castigating him. Amekuepo kwa kipindi cha miaka miwili, amebadilishwa wizara ngapi? 3. Sasa tumeona Kingi pia amekuepo, so sahii tumeletewa Joho. Does it mean rais sasa ameangalia mtu ambaye anaweza akadeliver hii pwani kwa sehemu moja?
Unajua watu wakikaa wakizungumza wakinegotiate.
Yes.
Sasa amezungumza na Mheshimiwa Raila tuseme kama party leader wa ODM. Wamekubaliana.
Okay.
Party leader wa ODM atamwambia mimi nitakuja lakini na masharti yangu.
Alright.
Nataka docket hiyo ya treasury hapo. Nipatie ya mining hapa na bahari na mtu wangu wa baharini hapa. Na Mbadi hapa nitamweka. Wandai nitamweka.
Yes.
Una negotiate.
Okay.
Uwezi kumwambia naja watu wangu 3 ni hao waweke unapotaka. No. Una negotiate. Same as alipozungumza na Uhuru, lazima watakuwa wamekubaliana. Naweza kukupa hiki na mimi nikaacha hiki. Mvurya ni wake wa UDA.
Okay.
Unaona, anaweza kumsacrifice sababu ni wake. Lakini hawa wengine wana baba yao. So anakuambia mimi hapa nataka agriculture sababu ni important kule Mount Kenya.
True.
Si tupeni ya agriculture. ICT Kabogo atakuja na chama chake ambaye mimi ni ya chini kwa ICT. Mwingine atakuja apewe. Hivyo wanakubaliana. So mnapokuwa mnakubaliana, mnaangalia wale watu wenu. Sasa huku pwani utakuwa umezungumza na nani? Ameleta nini? Utampa nini? There must be a leader that must rise to the occasion and rally. Who is?
Who is that leader now?
I said that leader will rise. See, nimwambia tu ndio wewe utasimama.
Yeah. And there must be a leader who can rise to the occasion.
Rise to the occasion.
Yeah.
Okay.
And know how to maneuver from Kiunga mpaka Shimoni with one voice. Wajue umuhimu wa watu kusimama pamoja kwa jambo lao. Kwa jambo lao. If you remember, Gachagua alikuwa azungumzia vizuri. When he says Mrima, Mrima una demands zake. Mrima ni mkulima.
Yeah.
Mrima ni mfanyikazi.
Yeah.
Kwa hiyo wao hata shosho akiwa hospitali atatolewa siku hiyo, apelekwe ake kidole kihesabiwe. Kwa sababu wanajua umuhimu wa kuwa na basket yako mwenyewe. Good example nitakwambia ni Wetangula. Mheshimiwa Weta ana kaunti moja tu,
Bungoma.
Lakini yote ni
West.
Ford Kenya,
yes. Yes.
Hiyo huwezi kumtoa hapo. Piga hesabu hizo kura peke yake kwanza.
Yeah.
Swali mpinga ile wakati wa ile alipochaguliwa Senate.
Yeah.
Swali mpinga. Na aliwaambia niachieni. Watu wakakataa waoneshana nguvu. He delivered. He's one person. Hizo kura zake lazima uzitake.
So if that can happen in the coastal region, then
mutaisabiwa. Then stereotype itaondoka.
Yeah.
But ikiwa sisi ni wakufuatafuata watu, let me tell you, Luo Nyanza does not have that much votes. But they are loud. Extremely loud. The second largest voting bloc is Western. It's not Luo Nyanza. But they are loud. Again, you have UDM.
From Northeastern.
Yes. We angalia impact UDM has made.
In a short period of time.
Very powerful. It's numbers. Una negotiate na numbers. What do you bring on board? Winning is not about 2 votes. Winning is about a number of votes that can make a difference. So if we can galvanize ourselves as coast region with our own interests, because we want to protect our interests, we must do that. Nobody can do it for you. Nobody. Never.
Oh. Well. It's about the numbers. And you know what? Yeah, tribal politics.
Tuko hapo.
There's nothing wrong with it. By the way, if you go to Belgium, I think it's Belgium.
Yeah.
They've had the same system for over 200 plus years.
Yeah.
Theirs is a linguistic based politics.
Will it ever be on, I'm wrapping up, but will it ever be on issues? Will it ever be on issues? Because we are seeing when there was an opposition, or rather there still is, it's not as loud as the one we're used to. When there was an opposition, there were complaints on certain issues, right? But then now we see a team in government. They've joined government. And the same issues they were complaining about, now they're supporting the same issues. Okay? Now this is where now the Gen Z also were coming in and saying that we are partyless, we are leaderless, but this is the problem. We do not understand this. We don't know the finance bill. We're complaining about the university funding model. We're complaining about the housing levy. We're complaining about SHA. These are issues, you know. Will we ever get to a point where we see that these are the issues that we have and they need to be solved, and we rally support towards a team that can campaign based on delivery?
Well, it is possible.
Yeah.
And it is happening. Because when you talk about regional politics and mobilizing around the region, it's about certain issues in the region. The coastal people feel sidelined. And they are sidelined. That's an issue. We don't get opportunities. It's a fact. That's an issue. But because we need to first get mobilized around ourselves for us to be able to raise our issue. So there's nothing wrong being tribal, let me tell you, as long as you use it positively. I cannot change my tribe. I am who I am. But if I need to get my issues forward, I need to mobilize around my own people, then so be it. And these are the countries which are based on linguistics. They mobilize around their languages, but then they form government at the center based on common issues. So it's just about the mobilization bit. I think Lebanon, if I'm not mistaken, is on religious matters. So the Christians, the Orthodox, the Sunnis, the Shias, they're organized in that manner. And then they form a government based on their common issues.
So then that means whatever the former deputy president did, Gachagua, when he kept on rallying for Watuamrima, it wasn't wrong, was it? Or are we just a pretentious nation?
Pretentious, yes.
Okay.
Was he wrong? Within his own context, he was right. What he was saying within, he was just saying it out publicly. And maybe people didn't like the way he kept on repeating it, that there were other people also, other tribe. Maybe he should have said, while Mrima ina complain, hata Rift Valley wamesema, wakuna shida hii, hata Nyanza, hata huko Western wamesema na wao. You see, if he had continued, because he's a national leader, should have said, hata wapwani tumewanyonga siku nyingi. It is not fair.
So makosa yake ni kwamba
alifocus kwa nyumbani peke yake.
Okay.
Akaona kila moja anakuwa accommodated, but not in Mrima. And he forgot Mrima has benefited since 1963.
Hapo ndo mahali alipiga nje.
Kama angekuwa anataka kuwa popular, he should have started with akina Northeastern, you know, Upper Eastern huko.
The minority.
Huko watu ambao wamesauliwa hata majina.
Pwani.
You know, Pwani. And then people wangesema, kwanza huyu ni muungwana sana. Anatutetea. And then finish off
na kwao sasa.
We barabara zinafika mpaka Shags. You know. So in a way, I think it is how he delivered it.
Yeah.
But the content,
it was right.
All along.
It was right all along.
Yeah.
We have been speaking to Maimuna Mwidau. Thank you so much for coming through.
Thank you.
Very informative. Again, that is the state of the nation. You know what? You got any questions? Tunaweza mpata social media.
Absolutely.
Sindio?
Kabisa.
Wapi? At Maimuna Mwidau?
At Maimuna Mwidau.
Yes.
Unanipata kwa X niko, Bimwidau, Facebook niko, Instagram niko.
All right.
But sometimes in Instagram you'll find me farming. So I do a lot of that at time to keep myself busy.
Thank you so much for making time.
Thank you.
All right, good morning.
Meshkuru.